There's countless new builds and rune pages that have surfaced throughout 11.23, so we're here to share with you guys 3 of the newest OP setups for each role. Our goal behind this video is to provide you guys with builds that are still flying under the radar so that you have the chance to spam them before everyone else catches on. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. And with that said, let's jump right in. It's no secret how strong lethal tempo has become on picks like Tryndamere, Irelia, and Jax. But one top laner many people underestimate with lethal is Set. Majority of Set players continue to run Conqueror, while lethal tempo users are winning at a much higher rate. Let's face it, after the Conqueror nerfs, it's just not as optimal as before. With how strong lethal tempo is after its mini rework, there is so much more of an incentive to pick it up. Lethal works great with how Set wants to build, as a Gore Drinker Rush in Hysterics is the bread and butter core. The only downside to this build is your lack of consistent DPS due to no attack speed, and that's where lethal tempo comes in. You don't have to give up any durability while your dueling potential in extended fights is potent. Complete rune page is lethal tempo with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. For secondaries, roll with Second Wind and Revitalize. A new Gangplank build being played by many pros in solo queue, but heavily slept on by most players, revolves around Axiom Arc. Even stat-wise, Axiom wins the most for any second purchase on GP throughout 11.23. Ultimate cooldown reducing passive from Axiom is amazing for Gangplank, but it's not the only factor as to why the item is so strong. Axiom provides 25 haste, which is absolutely massive for Gangplank. Upon ultimate usage, the cooldown will already be drastically lower due to the 25 haste, and if you pick up a couple kills, it will be back up in no time. Playmaking potential and ability to influence the map is much greater with this build, even though your one-shot power will be lower due to lack of crit. Complete build is Trinity Force into Axiom Arc 2nd and the Collector 3rd. In order to accelerate towards your Axiom Spike faster, you'll run First Strike as the keystone. This build is all about taking over at 2 items, so First Strike helps enable that. Winter's Approach is a relatively niche item right now, but it works extremely well for Cho'Gath, and most players have yet to catch on. The 2-item combination of Frostfire into Winter's Approach is such an amazing core for Cho. Frostfire was just buffed, while Winter's Approach provides infinite mana and a crazy amount of health. 400 base health combined with the passive that converts 8% total mana in health synergizes very well. Cho'Gath ultimate damage scales off bonus health, so your all-in power at 2 items is really nasty. Everything kicks in once you fully stack tier, and Winter's Approach transforms into Fimbul Winter. You proc the shield from Fimbul Winter by slowing or immobilizing an enemy, so all Cho'Gath has to do is point and click with E activated. What makes the synergy so great is that Fimbul Winter's shield is only an 8-second cooldown, while Cho'Gath E is 4 seconds at max rank. This means you'll be able to consistently proc the shield as soon as it's off cooldown. Full build is Frostfire Rush followed by Winter's Approach 2nd and Frozen Heart 3rd. Pick up Grasp as the keystone with Demolish, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. Optimal secondaries are Triumph and Tenacity. If you really want some incredibly free elo in the jungle for preseason, then don't be sleeping on lethal tempo Trundle. Trundle's level 3 skirmish power against AD junglers is insanely strong. Not only does Q deal bonus damage, but you remove 10 AD from the enemy as well, so throughout an extended fight it's so easy to win. You also gain 20 bonus AD yourself just by activating Q, and when coupled with the attack speed from lethal, you can slap away at the enemy's HP bar. At the time of making this video, only about 25% of Trundle players are running lethal, but are winning at astronomical rates. Lethal users win 55% of the time compared to PTA users at 52%. Full rune page is lethal tempo with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Run Inspiration Secondary with Freeboots and Cosmic Insight. In regards to the build, pick up a Divine Sunderer followed by Titanic Hydra 2nd and Sterix 3rd. A new Lilia build winning way more than the standard Liandry setup is a Crown into Cosmic Drive core. This build has already gained a ton of traction on Victor, and it works just as well for Lilia. Crown passive has amazing synergy with how Lilia wants to play teamfights later on. Going for those flash plays on the back line leaves you extra vulnerable, but due to the 75% damage reduction from Crown passive, it helps alleviate that. New Cosmic Drive passive is just absolutely perfect for Lilia, as she thrives in extended skirmishes. The 20% bonus movement speed makes the champion even more slippery than before. Another huge advantage to this build is the 500 health it provides. Most common core of Liandry's and Dazania's offers no health at all, so you're forced to play a little more reserved. Crown passive on top of the health gives Lilia the freedom to reach that extra bit further than she'd normally be able to. Dark Harvest and Predator are equally as viable rune options for Lilia, so it depends on if you favor stronger early gank power of Predator or more scaling damage from Dark Harvest. Something we admittedly didn't see coming was the emergence of First Strike on Assassin junglers. We talked about Rengar last week, and in today's video, another underrated pick you need to be running it on is Talon. First Strike is heavily outperforming the most popular Predator in 11.23, but why is this the case? For a champion like Talon who can pump out his entire combo in less than 3 seconds, you get a ton of value from First Strike. First Strike amplifies your damage by 10%, and this extra damage is granted to you in gold. Let's have a look at how much gold you can generate in the background gameplay. At level 3, with a full combo, you'll be raking in 40 gold. Of course, gold generation only becomes more plentiful with levels and items. At level 8, with Ghostblade completed, you're looking at bringing in over 100 gold from a full combo. With the extra gold from First Strike, Free Boots, and Futures Market, it's almost unfair as to how quickly you can hit item spikes. Even though Ghostblade was nerfed, it's still the most optimal rush item, followed by an Eclipse 2nd and the brand new Axiom Arc 3rd. Moving on to a couple mid lane builds, our first feature is a very interesting item path for Vlad. Rocket Belt has been the standard rush for ages now, but due to the Cosmic Drive changes, players have been rushing it and seeing great results. New Cosmic Drive passive is basically a less potent version of Phase Rush, as you gain 20% bonus movement speed from hitting the enemy with 3 separate attacks or spells. The flat 30 ability haste from Cosmic is exactly what Vlad wants to spam his Q out relentlessly. 5% base movement speed addition onto Cosmic was also a huge benefit for Vlad. Everything about the item works perfectly with Vlad's kit, which is why it's a great rush for 11.23. You'll pick up Rocket Belt 2nd and then round out the core with a Rabadon's 3rd. There's really no need to run Phase Rush anymore due to Cosmic Drive passive, so make sure to opt for Predator instead. We've been huge advocates of Predator Vlad for so many patches now, and it's finally starting to catch on. Victor has been absolutely dominant with First Strike in preseason, but another mid laner who isn't getting enough attention with the rune is Orianna. The short cooldown poke power from Q allows Orianna to very reliably proc First Strike, similar to how Victor can with his Q. Not just throughout the laning phase, but come mid-game teamfights, if you're able to land a multi-man ultimate, potential gold income is ridiculous. Rune Page isn't the only underrated part of Orianna's setup though, as many players are overvaluing Ludens. Crown of the Shattered Queen is way too good to pass up on, while only 20% of Ori players are building it. The item combo of Crown into Cosmic Drive is extremely popular for Victor, however Orianna players have yet to catch on. Kiting power and safety from the two items is exactly what you want for a mage without a gap closer. Ludens remains situationally strong if the enemy comp lacks heavy dive threats, but you shouldn't be autopilot building it every game now. Although Ryze's overall power level remains on the weaker side, a new build has been popping up giving him some life. It's a much tankier build than normal, consisting of a Crown of the Shattered Queen rush into Winter's Approach 2nd. You're basically a mage tank with this setup, as Cosmic Drive slots in 3rd to provide even more health. You get 900 health from this core on top of the Winter's Approach passive, which converts 8% of total mana into health. Durability and kiting potential is massive with this core, which allows you to get up close and pump out consistent DPS. We're not done yet though, as rune-wise, Predator has started taking over as the #1 keystone. A couple pros in solo queue have been running Predator, and it works really well with Ryze's perma-shove power. Constantly push out waves and then look for roam opportunities around the map. Point and click root from W makes your gank completely foolproof, so as long as your teammates can follow up, it's easy pickings. Heading down to the bot lane, we've seen many picks take off with lethal tempo, but that's really no secret now. A much more underrated setup for Misfortune consists of running First Strike as the keystone. Although MFQ and E are decent poke spells that can generate solid gold, you're going to see the most value from First Strike level 6 onwards. A fully channeled ultimate on multiple targets can bring forth disgusting amounts of gold. At level 8 with one item, you can generate over 150 gold with an ultimate on 2 targets. Of course, this won't happen every single game, but it just goes to show the maximum potential of the rune. A 3 or 4 man ultimate with a couple items can rake in over 500 gold per ult usage, which is completely insane. The full rune page is First Strike with Free Boots, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Best secondaries are Mana Flow and Scorch. Eclipse Rush into Ghostblade second, and Cyrilda's Grudge third is the core build. This next setup is definitely a bit more on the for fun side of things, but is seeing great results so far. We've noticed that Double Lift has been playing Predator Jhin in solo queue for a very pick-oriented playstyle. It's really the ultimate snowball setup, so look to prioritize in matchups you're confident you can win. Be sure to run Ingenious Hunter and Runes to lower the active cooldowns of Predator and Gale Force. Secondaries are Presence of Mind and Bloodline. Complete build is Gale Force Rush, followed by the Collector second and Rapid Fire Cannon third. Lethality Xayah has been a hot topic over the past few patches, and there's a new variation of the build you should be aware of. First 2 items are very standard with an Eclipse and a Manamune, however, Axiom Arc is the new addition slotted in third. Axiom is most commonly built on Assassins, but Xayah sees great use out of the item too. With Ultimate available, Xayah is 10 times the champion, and with Axiom Arc, you'll have near perma uptime. Especially in games where you're playing against a comp with heavy dive champions, Axiom slotted in third is a no-brainer. As for runes, pick up Summon Airy with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Optimal secondaries include Magical Footwear and Biscuits. Aftershock has been the most consistent rune on Thresh for the longest time, but the Glacial Augment rework has something to say about that. At the time of making this video, Glacial is the best performing keystone on Thresh for a few different reasons. Slow from Glacial procs off immobilizing effects, which makes the classic Flay into hook combo so much easier to execute. Flaying the enemy will proc Glacial slow, allowing you to easily line up Q for the pick. Mini Exhaust is the icing on the cake, as you not only prevent the enemy from moving, but limit their damage too. Follow up Glacial with Perfect Timing, Biscuits, and Time Warp Tonic for primary runes. Build is an Even Shroud Rush into Zeke's Convergence second and Wardstone third. Ever since the Guardian nerfs, it's fallen in priority on many supports, even for one of its biggest abusers in Rakan. We're seeing the vast majority of pro players deviate away from Guardian to spam Predator in solo queue. This makes so much sense for a pick champion like Rakan, as he wants to hard engage and dive the back line. Counterplay for the enemy is extremely limited when you opt for Predator. Flash and Ultimate available with Predator active popped means the enemy ADC can kiss goodbye any hope of being able to play the game. General roam plays are also so much more effective with Predator, as you can run right up to the enemy, force them to flash away, and then use your W once it's guaranteed to hit. Oh, and let's not forget, you also have the Shirelias active to offer even more movement speed and catch potential. Second item is a Chemtech Putrefier followed by Wardstone third. The 15th and final new setup we have to share with you guys today is an Axiom Arc Rush for Pyke. Don't mess around building an early Mythic on Pyke, as you want to grab Axiom for maximum snowball power. It's almost as if the item was specifically built for Pyke. There's really not much more you could ask for than being able to drastically reduce the cooldown of such a game-changing spell like Pyke's Ultimate. Your general impact is so much higher with Ultimate available, which makes Axiom the best rush item. Analytics back up the build even further, as Axiom wins 4% more than Duskblade as a rush. You still want to build Duskblade and Youmuu's, but hold off until second and third. Keystone is very preference-based at the moment. For stronger laning power and early kill threat, pick up Halo Blades, while if you prefer a heavier roam playstyle, then Predator works great. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank-up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent Challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $4.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So that wraps up everything for this one. Good luck with all these new builds, and we will see you back soon.